Good morning, everybody. We're Sports Corner Update. I'm Joe Cross. Our guest this morning is following the Big Four college hoops teams around here, UB, Niagara, Canisius, and St. Bonaventure, along with the up-and-rising David Wildcats. Here join us from WNYBig4Talk.com, Johnathan Snyder. John, thanks for coming on with us this morning.
Joe, I appreciate you having me.
So, when did you start covering basketball, and how did this ball get started?
About 4 years ago, I started covering the college hoop scene, college football too with UB. But basically, I saw an opening. I saw an opening that really wasn't being attacked here in Western New York. People like to dig into the Bills and Sabres, but I saw an opening with the 4 Division I college programs in a 40-mile span, which doesn't really happen. And I said, why not? Let's attack that and see where it goes. And fortunately for me, it's taken off.
The biggest story this offseason so far has been Bobby Hurley leaving UB, going to Arizona State after 2 seasons. Nate Oates is brought in as the new head coach. If the Bulls won against West Virginia in the tourney, do you think Hurley would have stayed, or was he getting ready to go?
Joe, that's a tough question. I think everyone wants to ask that. I truly believe if they won that game against West Virginia, they probably would have won their next game against Maryland. West Virginia was a much more talented team than Maryland was this year. And I think if that happens, I do think Hurley stays, because that forces Danny White and the athletic department's hand to pay him well beyond the max best if they want to keep him around, because if not, he may warrant a higher job than Arizona State. But it's really hard to say. He's had a lot of success. He wants to be a head coach at a power school, and now he has his opportunity. So I'm happy for him. I think Buffalo's very happy for what he did here. But it's hard to say if he would have stayed. I think people would like to say that, but I guess we'll never know.
What can Bulls fans expect of Nate Oates? Had a lot of success at Michigan, Romulus High School. He coached with Coach Justin Moss. What can we expect from Oates this season?
Well, you talked about Oates' success at Romulus, and we need to really quickly touch upon that. He spent 11 years there, made it to 5 state Final Fours, won 1 state championship, and that's not easy to do in the state of Michigan. That's not cupcake basketball over there at the high school level. He's a team-oriented guy. He's team first, individual player second. He's going to get the best out of every player he has, but he's also going to recruit people of high character. And that's something that athletic director Danny White talks about a lot. One thing that he really likes to do that I've seen so far out of his players is make them smarter players. So everyone has their strengths, but he likes to make them smarter. If that lessens a little bit what they do for the betterment of the team, he's okay with that. I think UB is going to be fine with Nate Oates, and I truly believe that the program's not going to dip at all.
Justin Moss is going to be coming back for his senior year. He had a great season this year. Does he have NBA potential, and could we expect more out of him this season, an even better performance, would you say?
Well, I think Justin Moss is a guy that, in terms of NBA radar, doesn't get enough credit and doesn't get enough looks. He can shoot the ball. He's 6'8", 255, if not a little bit heavier than that. He's very athletic. He can shoot the ball from 18 feet. I've seen him shoot it from 3 before. He can drive to the basket. He can defend. The problem is at 6'8" in the NBA, you're going to be undersized at the 4 position. But I think this year, in terms of max success, he'll have a ton of success. You pair him up with a few guys that Oates has brought in, a Hurley recruit in Nick Perkins, who was started mainly because of Oates. Nick Perkins, 6'8" power forward out of Milan High School. He's going to be a really good freshman player for this team. You bring in David Kadiri, junior college player. A few junior college players coming in, Willie Connor, Blake Hamilton, all of decent size, 6'6" or bigger. So you pair those up with him on the wing, put Moss down low, you have Raheem Johnson coming back. I think the Bulls are going to be loaded up front, especially on that wing this year. So I think Moss is going to have some pressure taken off him, even more pressure off him than he had last year. He was asked to do a lot last year, and fortunately, he came through.
Jim Barron had a decent 3rd season at Canisius this past winter, advancing all the way to CIT semis against NJIT. How would you describe his coaching style, and how do you think Canisius is going to do this season? Could Jermaine Crumpton and M. Weir, the local guys, get more playing time this season?
Jim Barron's he's a Brooklyn guy, and he brings that attitude to his team. He
really quick. Sorry, that was our 5 info. A reminder: today is a day 5. Sorry.
But no, Jim Barron really brings that Brooklyn style mentality to his team. That hardworking, hard-nosed. He doesn't have the most talented team. Fortunately, he doesn't have his son anymore there to rely on for 25 points a game. But, I thought he well exceeded expectations. This team this past year was not very talented. They weren't very good, and they still won 18 games. They still were 5th in the conference after being picked 10th. Made it to the 3rd round of a postseason tournament. So I think this overall season was a success, and I think Jim will continue to get the best out of his players. They're still not going to be super talented. They're going to lose Josiah Heath. They lost Jeremiah Williams, and Zach Lewis transferred. So you're going to be not as talented, but I'm sure he'll get the same amount out of his guys. And
I saw Jermaine Crumpton actually play my freshman year at the Falls, and he was just a beast. So could he emerge this season?
Crumpton showed last year that he can be a great player in the Metro Athletic Conference. He at 6'6", he's got a wide frame. He can shoot the ball from 3. He's pretty athletic. He's not afraid to bang in the post with bigger guys. I think he's going to be a good player in this league, especially with 3 more years to develop under Barron. Adam Weir, I think Jim Barron relied on him heavily last year with high expectations. And I think he started off okay. He's obviously coming from Canisius, Buffalo News Player of the Year. But he struggled. His minutes dwindled as the year went on. They went to Cassius Robertson, another redshirt freshman. And Cassius really stepped up and took on that role. And Adam kind of slid in the background. Adam's gonna have to work on his defense because this isn't Western New York High School hoops. You've got you got defending with much quicker guards. He'll be able to do that. I'm not sure if he'll ever be a 30-minute a game guy, but I think he'll contribute a little bit more this year as his confidence rises.
Another big team around here that's up and rising, like we said, the Damon Wildcats. Mike McDonald came in from a die to lead them to the USC AA National Championship. But we also have to give credit to an NT alum here, Mike Moranto. He's over the program for the past 5 seasons, and he's brought in a lot of recruits. Most notably, Aaron Davis went there too from NT. Is Damon emerging as the top basketball program behind UB? Because from what I've been hearing, it seems like it is.
Damon's basketball program for the past 5 to 6 years, if not beyond, has been doing everything right. They're recruiting kids of high character. They're recruiting kids that are very, very talented. Some, Division I players. Mike Moranto is a big reason for that. Mike Moranto, obviously a North Tonawanda alum, forms relationships with these players and is able to really, get into this Western New York talent. And that's something that's, if you're able to recruit locally, that's going to give you a big advantage. Are they the second school in the in the Western New York? I don't know. Canisius is still a Division I school. Niagara is still a Division I school. Bonaventure a little out there, so they're in Olean. They're an hour and 15 minutes away. So yeah, they might be taking some fans away. And trust me, the Lumpton Gymnasium at Damon is packed every day. But you talk about some players. You touched upon Gerald Beverly. Gerald Beverly is
he an NBA talent? Would you say?
It's hard to say. I really like Gerald Beverly. I think he'll get some looks in the summer league. And I know some teams are looking at him. I know the Cavaliers, the Blazers, the Spurs. They've all been in to see him. Do I think he can play in the NBA with his skill set and his size? Probably not. Because at 6'7", he's going to have to play the 3, and he can't play the 3. He's a 4. Can he turn into a DeJuan Blair type player in the NBA if he works hard enough? Absolutely, because he'll get better against better competition. I'm not sure. I'm not going to count him out because he went from a kid who was 6'3" or 6'2" his junior year of high school. Now he's 6'7", 265 pounds. He's got shoulders as long as his table. And
well, that was our 1-minute reminder today. Is Dave Todd. So you think Damon is going to be on the rise next season?
Yes. Gerald Beverly leaving. Torrance Dyke is going to be there, and they're going to be a good team.
Okay, that's Johnathan Snyder, everybody. We'll have JV baseball coach Dan Hannon coming out tomorrow. Johnathan Snyder, everybody. John, thanks for coming on.
Joe,
we'll be back in just a moment.